Have you ever had a moment where your life technically still looks the same, but it doesn't feel the same anymore? Like nothing is necessarily wrong, but something just isn't clicking the way that it used to. The things that used to feel like you don't quite fit, but you also don't know who you are without them yet. Usually, this starts after something shifts. Something, sometimes it's big. Sometimes it's something like a breakup or a burnout or an identity shift. And sometimes it's subtle, like waking up one day and realizing I can't keep doing this the same way anymore. Or waking up and asking yourself the question of, like, why does this feel off? And what people don't realize is that moment isn't the problem. The mind always perceives it to be the problem. It's not actually the problem, it's actually the beginning. And as I've come to look at this in my own life, in the lives of my clients, there's actually a pattern to this. Things break, things go quiet, and then something new begins. But most people were never taught how to be in that middle part, that quiet, um, possibility filled middle part. There's a space, or like I said, you're not quite who you were, that old identity, those old patterns. You have an idea of where you're going, where you want to be, but you're also not fully who you're becoming yet. And it's one of the most uncomfortable places to be because there's not really anything to grab onto. And it can often feel like something interrupted your life. Like things just got shaken up out of nowhere. And fun fact, this week has a lot of that energy. But it's not random. It's actually life waking you up out of a pattern that you've outgrown. And so, if you're in a season where things feel unclear, where you might be second guessing yourself, where you keep thinking those thoughts of, I should have figured it out by now, there is no need to should on yourself. Those questions of, like, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. You are in transition. And this is actually a very real phase that people go through. But because nobody names it, it can feel like you're lost, or it can feel like you're stuck, or it can feel like you're doing something wrong. The reason this phase feels so intense isn't just because things are changing just arbitrarily. There's actual nervous system rewiring, brain rewiring. Your mind is catching up to, oh, this, we don't perceive this as a problem anymore. This is new data. This is new information. And it's because your mind is trying to solve this version of your life that no longer exists. It's freaking out. And the body is trying to learn how to trust something that it can't quite fully see yet. see, feel, touch, all of the senses, gustatory, right? NLP, we learn it all. Eyes, all the things. But it's not tangible yet. So what happens in this phase? What happens is that you start reaching for what's familiar. Those things often look like old patterns, those old identities, the responsible one, the smart one, the one who shows up no matter what. Those old coping mechanisms, right? And we return to what's familiar, not because it's aligned, simply because it's known. It's what the mind knows. It's what the body knows. And so this beautiful middle in between part, most people try to rush this part. They try to figure it out too fast, or try to force clarity before it's actually ready. That mind, it really, that ego really will get some things in a kerfuffle. But rushing this phase, actually, rushing this middle in between phase, this quiet part, is actually what creates more confusion. This middle void, if you will, this is where we get to make that conscious shift from this is hard to this is purposeful. I'm walking in my purpose. This in-between phase is not empty. It's where your identity is being rewritten. It's where that old story, that old narrative, I'm not enough, I gotta do more, I'm too, all of that, it's loosening its grip. And something new is quietly forming underneath all of that. A quiet remembering is happening as this other old stuff falls away. Like I said, you just can't fully see it yet. So instead of trying to escape this middle phase just because it's uncomfortable, what if you could actually understand it? What if you could learn how to move through it without abandoning yourself, your soul? What if you could move through it without going back to what you've already outgrown? That's exactly what we're going to be exploring inside of Life After a Major Change. This is an event, a live conversation that I'm hosting on Zoom on 4/20 around this time, 8 p.m. I'll be doing a live stream beforehand for the Substack subscribers who want to get ready with me. And then at 8 p.m., we're going in deep. There's going to be 4 parts. And so that first part of this live conversation is where we actually talk about what that moment was for you, what that moment was that everything changed, where life happened and now stuff doesn't fit. The identity is disrupted. This catalyst, if you will, is why most people feel lost after big transitions. And we're going to really talk about why that is, especially when it comes to that identity shift where the old story no longer fits. We're really going to get into this in-between void phase. We're going to talk about those reasons why people often go back to those old patterns. Why is it so familiar? And it's really juicy. From studying Dr. Joe Dispenza's work to understanding the programming of the mind with neurolinguistic, it's It fascinates me. And we're going to talk again about in this in between phase how this is where the identity reconstruction actually starts to happen. In part 3 of that live conversation, we're going to be decoding that old story. So we're going to be talking about where those identity narratives come from. Often it's a source from childhood modeling, conditioning, and agreements that we made with ourselves that actually erode our self-trust when really we thought we were just surviving in the world. And then that last part of the live conversation is going to be where we start to talk about rewriting that story, where we get to talk about what it looks like to choose a new identity consciously with intention, to talk about the importance of self-awareness and getting back to the source of who you were born to be and the purpose that your soul came here to fulfill. Because somewhere along the way, we got assigned these labels, these narratives of who we are: student, child, parent, mother, wife, all of these labels that distract. They help us fit, but they distract sometimes from the true soul essence of why we came to Earth School, the growth that our soul, our infinite consciousness came here to experience. And part of what we'll be discussing in this part 4 of this live conversation is how to actually use the story of your soul curriculum to retell who it is that you actually are, to get familiar with that narrative of you having a soul-aligned assignment, a soul-aligned set of lessons, circumstances, challenges that your soul chose gifts to help you navigate. We're going to be talking about that navigation tool a little bit in part 4. So I'm really excited. This was really just to open up the space for where we're going deeper on 420. It has been my honor to have you with me, your presence, your attention, your intention. Namaste. I love you. And bye for now. Link is coming soon to join the 420 event.